I have the best team in automotive today because building a car is a complex project, and we have become very functionalized in America as car builders. And so if you ask a lot of people who work in large automotive companies how to build a car, it's a tough project, because when you're asking them, you're not asking them in their traditional role and saying something like, tell me how to build a door, tell me how to build an injection system. What you're saying to them is, build me an injection system and source the parts for it and market it and do the service design for it and take customers and clean the bathroom at the same time. And that's the kind of team that we have at Local Motors.
I'm Morel.
Okay, and what do you do here, Ariel?
Designer at Local Motors.
Aurélien Francois was one of our early community members, and to us he was just a name. He came in as Aurel. And I called him at that point the modern day de Tocqueville, because he came in with this Miami concept for our Miami road racer competition. I think it was called the Elvira. And the Elvira was one of these subtle views of American culture and Cuban culture in South Florida. And the subtlety with which he tackled the program was unprecedented for other American designers, and he wasn't even from this country. And so we met him there, and then he just continued. And the funny thing about him that I learned afterwards is that he was absolutely flipping out to speak to us on the phone because he just didn't speak English all that much. And he was working at a meatpacking factory, what you call an abattoir in France. And so for him to go from that anonymity, French speaker, working at an abattoir, to then coming and working at Local Motors just 2 months after the time that he first even knew who we were, is this incredible confluence of vroom. You get this tornado of excitement that brings somebody and lands them on our doorstep with an H-1B visa not but several months later. What an incredible story. What a great heartbeat of the community for us to have inside of our offices.
I've cut all these tubes, cut and bent all the tubes for this chassis, and started to weld everything together.
And then there's Colby. You get Colby, who was a fabricator and a master machinist coming from Factory 5 Racing.
It's never been done before, and it's just really cool to see how many people are actually involved in this and like it and love it and want to be part of it.
Right.
It's totally different from even what I'm used to from being over at Factory 5.
He's constantly bringing home, like some people adopt dogs, he adopts old cars or old trucks or old pieces of machinery. He says, honey, I'm bringing home a front-end loader today that I bought off this guy for $100. I'm going to fix it up and I'm going to have a front-end loader. That's Colby. Magical to have him around the team.
I certainly have some experience with past companies and doing a full vehicle program from the ground up at a much lower budget.
Dave is a guy that plans deeply into the future, and he's somebody that thinks about detail in the way that a customer would want to think about detail.
Designing a complete rear axle with gears and everything and tool up for all that, could take months. Could be a 3-4 month process. Being quick, but that's something that we're buying as a done product, ready to go with brakes and all. So that's it's down to basically purchase it, get it in a week.
He's actually our secret weapon when it comes to making sure that the fit and finish of a car is thought through before the first engineering diagram is even made.
I think the one word to describe is destiny, really. It's in his blood.
Destiny's grandchild, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mike brings very different skills to the team, equally talented, but here's a guy who has a deep sensitivity about the marketing of a car company and how that intersects with engineering.
Working side by side with designers in-house as well as in the community. We haven't had a lot of experience with it. It's all basically, we did the design and engineering in the past. So it's been exciting to see that as well.
So Mike spends his time on the afternoons, evenings, and weekends advertising for what Local Motors on an engineering community side can do. And this is something that's very rare for somebody to be so outward while they're building cars. He brings a very different skill to the team where he's willing to put it out there. Many engineers, in fact, I would wager most engineers, aren't willing to say what they think might be the case before they know exactly what the specifications are of the system or machine that they're building. Mike is somebody that's willing to reach out there and meet the customer halfway and say, this is what we're building here, and that's a wonderful skill and a great counterpoint to the other engineering and fabrication elements that we have on the team.
Who do you think I am, you?
Listen.
Ari is magic on our team. For everything that went into this organization, I don't think we could have found a better community manager, somebody who was willing to reach out and consistently engage in a very upbeat, very humble way to learn what people in the community are saying, and then also feed the community message in a way that's very real to her heart, even if she's not a core car enthusiast as to what she's demonstrated in her life. Ari loves furniture, she loves jewelry, she loves beautiful things, and our cars are beautiful things, so she's been able to attract that sense of engagement from the community. That's Ari for us, in a nutshell, if that's possible.
It just is a very efficient way to get a lot of good information. I think that crowdsourcing is successful when there's some direction.
And so then there's the idea of building our website that came up. Shortly after Karen had come on board, we knew that we wanted to start running competitions. And I ran across from one of our advisors that introduced us to this guy, and he had a broad range of skills. He had coded in C++, he had coded in Visual Basic, he had coded in the full LAMP stack, and he was really willing to look at every new framework and every new coding language, from the iPhone to the way that you develop intellectual property around development of code.
Our company is not going to simply allow the crowd to design a Homer Simpson car, but once we have a submission that is a really exciting car, we're going to work that submission, and we're going to get feedback from the community, and collectively we'll move in the right direction. And that's what we've done.
Tim has been the most value-added side of building our core community from beginning to end that we've had on the team so far.